choices. I mean, that's really the whole idea. It's just about choices, and we are lacking in a lot of choices. But we can't keep blaming the same people
Right.
for our lack of choices when we limit our own choices.
Right.
I ain't doing that. What I look like doing that? That
Mm-hmm.
ain't my idea.
Yeah.
Miles is struggle because I ain't about that life.
Right.
You know, we say things out loud, and I have an issue with words because the words we use, I often catch myself saying things.
Yeah.
Because you have to limit the words that you put out into the atmosphere because they have to then come true.
Manifest.
Right. Like words have innate qualities. They
Oh.
have to seek out the mission
Yep.
of the tongue. So whenever you speak something out there, it has
real.
to at least find the place that you're sending it to.
Right.
And if I'm not prayed up and covered enough, those words are attacked. You ever just been in a space where everything was good, and then this happened, and then that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying all that is coming from outside in, because a lot of it may be coming up from you. But somebody's speaking something about you, and you hear you. And it's not even about gossiping, but you just hear somebody looking at somebody doing their thing, and like that ain't gonna last, because I can already see the people around.
Mm.
So you manifesting in somebody else's life, in somebody else's journey, in somebody else's destiny, without even thinking about it. We do it to our children. Oh, look at him. He gonna be bad as hell when he grow up. You speaking that. This way they roll their neck and like come back, like all those little idiosyncrasies that we don't even think about doing ourselves. My child is watching.
Right.
And it is the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. And children know. So I know how much I knew when I was younger. I remember so
Right.
far back.
Exactly.
Like, I remember being potty trained. That's how far back I can actually remember. And if somebody can remember that much, just imagine how much of what you said they hold on to.
It's deep.
And it just amazes me how we don't think about
Yeah.
those little things when it comes to raising children and being there for children and being open and honest with children. We don't realize those things.
Mm.
And it's just crazy to me. It really means that we are not in a space that we supposed to be at. We don't get it. We don't understand. We don't care to understand it. Like we were saying, like some people just don't care. Like I don't care. Like we just living a life meant for somebody else almost. Like we just living somebody else's existence.
Yeah, you gotta wake up, man. Like
And see that phrase, get woke or be woke or wake up. Like I don't know what that means. I'm awake right now.
When I say it, it's like on having awareness of what's going on,
Mhm.
like a reality of like change your perception of like what you deem to be real and not real, and kind of challenge yourself to. I know you look at things this way, but try to go to somebody else's world and see how they view things. And once you do that, I feel like you can get a wider perspective and you can build yourself up more than what you was before.
To add to what you said, it's not so much. I think the first thing you just said was this awareness.
Yeah.
But it's don't base it off of what you feel, because knowing what you feel is based on your personal experience. We come from two different places, probably right up the street from each other. But my experience is totally different from yours, or they may be exactly the same, but they're different because you're you and I'm me.
Right.
I hear things a certain way, you hear things a certain way, based on our personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
When people say certain things, I take notice because I know what I've heard before and where that's coming from. And now when I hear it, I don't really react to it. I just store it in that little box over here, and then I look for the pattern in that person. And it's really hard to not judge somebody based on my experience, because that's supposed to be what street smarts is. Like that's what that's based off of. But at the same time, understanding that everything ain't hood no more. Like you gotta get out of that and understand that there's a work. I ain't said let it go, or don't understand what it is when you see it, we got to get out. Everybody ain't out to hurt you.
Right.
If you knew how many people I've tried to help that then question the fact that not so much I'm helping them, but why do you want to help me? Understanding that I'm helping you, well, why do you want to help? So when people ask me, I feel sorry. I feel bad but even in me feeling bad, I understand it.
Yeah,
because I've had people take advantage of the help that they were giving me.
And you never know what somebody go through.
You never know.
Somebody could have been beat in the head, you know what I mean, with the same way that you said what you said. They got hit in the head because somebody said it like that. And they looking at you like, oh, is he gonna beat me in the head? So it's like, you never know people.
Right. And it's on both sides of it. But it just understands where all this trauma is coming from. A lack of comfort in bringing somebody. We can't go to parents. We can't go to our friends. We can't go to our pastors now. We can't. It's nobody we can really feel safe. And I'm saying that in a blanket statement because there are people we can go to.
For sure.
But now, if I go to my past, I gotta worry about whether she or he go home to their family and talk about my story, or is this a fire, in the pastor circle, or parents often kind of, when you bring them an issue, internalize, it then becomes about them versus the problem that's in front of them or the person that's in front of them. Friends, I gotta get mine. I ain't got time to help you with yours.
Right.
Relationships, same way. We getting together with people or making friends with people, and you can't really choose your family, but your family with people who don't. I'm researching songs for Blueprints, and one of the songs I came across is How Long. It's just called How Long, and he's going through the song, and he said, how long do I have to keep smiling at people who are evil towards me? How long do I have to keep being nice to people who are backstabbing me? How long do I have to continue to give and still be taken from? And he just kept going, and it's crazy. We living in a world where trauma is stacked on top of trauma, that's stacked on top of trauma, and you can't even get down to the person for all this trauma that's
so many layers.
So many layers of
when
it.
people get into it, once you start doing that over and over and building that, it's like a wall gets built up, and eventually you just get into survival mode. It's like, yo, I can't trust this person. I can't trust this person. These people gonna talk about me on social media. These people gonna talk about me in the street. So who do I trust besides myself?
So now on top of that, you can't even promote your business on a platform for fear that these people will put their name and their mouth on your business. So now you're losing out because you are afraid of this thing that they are able to access. And just think about in school and work, homes, church, all these people are not going to church because that's happening. People are not going to school because that's happening. People don't want to go to work because that's happening. People don't want to go home because that's happening. So just imagine, that's why so many people are around with this huge mountain on their shoulder. It ain't even a chip no more. It's a whole mountain.
A lot of people like The Walking Dead, man. They just don't know what to do. Like, don't know which way to go. They just lost. It's like wandering. Because it's like so much going on. And that's just personal. And then you go like job, school, then political. It's just like, golly, boy. Like, who can I trust? What can I do? It's not easy out here.
It's been a lot of situations where I've been trying, and I often help people who I see myself in, or I see things that I've been in on. I see it, and it's hard for me to just walk past somebody that's going through, or I see, like, I feel a lot, and my feelings are attached to being able to see through what you're showing me. And it's the craziest thing because it'll almost stop me in my tracks, and I feel it coming off of somebody, and that person will be so guarded and so well protected in terms of the wall that they put up around themselves that they can't even speak to you without feeling like you will get in
Right.
some way. And it's the hardest thing to watch. It's the hardest thing to see. And I sometimes imagine what I was thinking, and when those things happen, or those types of people were
Right.
sent to me, and how I treated them, and then what their reaction to it was.
So my next question for you is, because I think you do. This is one of the skills that you had that you do so well. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you have, like, when you, because you see it a lot being a manager and director. You deal with a lot of people. So like, when you see somebody, you know they come in with some stuff that's not even legit. How do you let them do what they do, but still love on them and still be open to them, even though you know that what they saying is not even like true?
Well, your loving on somebody has nothing to do with, one, you being around them.
Right.
Two, I can love on you and get done what I need to get done without you. Like, often it's not about pushing somebody away, but letting somebody know this ain't working for you right now. When it is, let's talk about getting you back here. But I think you need to take time.
That's that
But
balance.
you don't stop
What you're
doing what was blessed in you to do.
That's
You
deep.
can't stop your focus and what your destiny and your desires and your heart is telling you to do. Like, when a divorce, somebody just did the same thing, equated it to them still being able to love a Bill Cosby through all of this that has come out. And if your child kills somebody, do you stop loving them? You don't. You can't stop loving them because that's your child. And even if it's not your child, if I love you and you do this, it doesn't change how I...
Unconditional love.
Right. It doesn't
It's not
change... Right. It doesn't change how I feel about you. It may change how we can interact and how we deal with each other, but it doesn't change how I feel.
That's the difference, because I feel like a lot of times people will cut people off because they just don't know how to explain, like how you explain. I think people don't realize that it's a method. It's not just, it doesn't have to be like you cut them off, never see them again, but just maybe giving them that time and that space until they get back to where they want to be.
And when you stop being crazy, we might can work out our friendship again.
Right.
But until then, don't call me.
Right.
And it's only for my sanity.
Yeah.
It's only for my comfort. What I'm able to do for me. I can't have you around me not being able to.
It's going to throw me off, because eventually you're going to dive so deep into that situation that you become that person that's crazy.
Because
so
you're chasing. One of the things that I do is I don't accept apologies. And a lot of people get pissed off at me because I'm trying to apologize to you and you can't even see. I don't want it. Because if you were truly sorry, you wouldn't have did it in the first place. So take the guilt, do something about it, let it go, forgive yourself, and move on.
Right.
Don't worry about what I'm holding on to. You deal with how you're doing. And then on the other side, I don't need to keep apologizing. I'm not sorry. I did what I did, and that's what was right. And whether it was good, bad, or ugly, I did what I did.
Right.
I'm not going to keep apologizing until you believe me. I'm not going to do that. Because now you're trying to seek some validation, and you're not being full because you're looking for my forgiveness. You need to forgive.
And that's the situation with Kanye. Sometimes he's going through a situation, and like he may be going through a bunch of situations at one time, and then all of a sudden he just blow. And people
but
like,
you don't owe these people nothing.
Yeah,
you bought an album or a
exactly.
ticket. He don't owe you. He does not owe you anything because he is mentally breaking down.
Right.
It's like he owes something to us. Like his sanity is based on us. No, he lost his mother.
Yeah.
You didn't lose his mother.
Right.
Like, you didn't even know his mother.
And that concept is crazy. That's what we do on social media.
When we first was introduced to him as a star, this man had his mouth wired shut.
Right. Genius.
Right, like
Genius. Still
that means something happened to him.
Right.
He was shot in his face.
Yeah.
Like people they only can see the best in you.
Yeah.
They don't even wanna think about
And now we're in
you
a space.
hungry today?
Right.
I gotta share my sandwich with you, man. I call it later.
Right, and we conditioned to do that.
Mm-hmm.
To see, okay, social media, I'm gonna get the best. I'm gonna take the picture 100 different times so I get the best angle, and that's what I'm gonna show to you. I'm not gonna show you the times.
And at the end of the day, that camera is only gonna show you what it sees.
Exactly. Or they put the filter on there, and you know what I'm saying.
Even the idea of filters. You know, filters started out as mistakes in manually developing film. So all of those filters were based off of something manually going wrong in the dark room. That's what the filters are. The overexposure, the contrast, all of those things were based on mistakes. And we don't even get to see that. But we're going to take our last break, and we'll be back here. Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
It's the weekly roundup. Here's what happened this week on Cheryl Underwood Radio. And we're back with more. It's the weekly roundup. Here's what happened this week on Cheryl Underwood Radio. And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, Harry. It's time for our HBCU shout out, and we will be spotlighting today Voorhees.
So all of the lives before that,
College, where I will be speaking at the 100.
And just you can add on. We can do maybe like a
21st commencement.
Nice.
Yeah. Is that what I'm speaking at?
That's what you're speaking at.
Absolutely. Yep. This weekend.
That's basically graduation day?
Yes.
They already graduated?
That's early, huh?
No, aren't they graduating?
Man. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's right. That's right, and thank you. I'd like to thank our good friends, Skip Mason and Harry Sutherland, because Harry gonna be wheels go on the bus, go round and round driving.
Using those new eyes.
Oh man, that's a story we need telling again in entertainment about how Harry overshot the whole airport. Y'all didn't forget about that yet? Yeah, we ain't forgetting about that. But on Saturday,
I did that one time, Courtney.
One time. That we can't let that one go. I ain't never been that close to a plane. By the time you open your eyes? I felt like Whitney Houston, the bodyguard. Remember when the car came up on the plane? But I will be at the 121st commencement convocation on Saturday, May the 5th, at the Leonard E. Dawson Health and Human Resources Center. Speaking for commencement, according with the facts, give us some history of Voorhees College. They're changing minds and changing lives.
Former name, it used to be Voorhees Industrial Institute College Youth. That was nice. In 1902, Ralph Voorhees gave the school a donation to purchase the land. So
great.
That's why they kind of named it after him. South Carolina General Assembly in 1904 renamed the school for colored youth. So that's where that came in. 1904, like, is that what was going on with racism right then? That was slavery.
1904?
No slavery.
Right.
But it was still, it was close.
Yeah.
So we will be in Denmark, South Carolina. That's the location of Voorhees College. Voorhees notable alumni are? You got
Jackie Dinkins, NBA player, Chicago Bulls. Y'all know him?
Go ahead now.
Jackie Dinkins.
You know, I'm gonna say something. I'm shocked because Jim know Black history in sports better than
60s or 70s. Right?
Listen to me, off the dome, man.
Wow.
He didn't even go to the Google. Google with that one.
71-72 season with the Bulls.
And you know what I love? I love changing minds, changing lives.
That is nice.
That's how it works.
Yes, and I think that's what I'm kind of going to speak on, and I want to speak on coming from somewhere and representing something. So we will be at Voorhees College. Myself, Vic Frost, our super producer, will be there. Harry Sutherland, our favorite country lawyer, Erna Fouché, executive director of Pack Rat Foundation for Education. So we salute you, Voorhees College. Remember,
here's one, Cheryl. Sorry,
go sir.
Jackie Dinkins. What number he wore for the Chicago Bulls?
Is he doing the court?
That's it.
This is off the dome. Off the dome. I just figured.
Yeah, 23.
Like Michael Jordan?
Yeah, like Michael Jordan.
He's Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan.
First Michael Jordan.
12 years before that.
He's pre-Michael Jordan? I ain't listen to me.
Oh, and Cheryl, their colors are royal blue and white.
That's what I was waiting on. I was waiting on us. You know it, Harry Sutherland. Z5, you know it.
Yeah.
You know it. That's right. That's right. And see, let me tell you something. I'm so proud of y'all that y'all know Black history is American history.
There it is.
I'm just proud of y'all. Hey, give us a call at 1-855-SHERYL1. Shout out your alma mater in our HBCU shout out because we want to hear from you always before you hear from us. So Voorhees College, we and I think my sorority sister is Miss Voorhees.
Oh, that's
I think I heard that at the Pacific Region Conference that she's Miss Voorhees. So I'm going to research that and see if that is true before I start running my mouth. Now, the super producer, I know you're looking at me, so I close the break, but I'm just really excited about going to Voorhees College, and I'm just going to have a great time fellowshipping with the students there. And remember that Black history is American history, but you don't have to be Black to get a quality education at a HBCU. Now it's time for Warren Ballantyne's Tell Me Something You Don't Know.
Thank you, Cheryl. This is Warren Ballantine with Cheryl Underwood Radio, and I'm going to tell you something you may not know. I want to talk a little bit more about the Bill Cosby case, and I want to talk about it from this sense. A lot of people are saying Bill Cosby is getting exactly what he deserves. They're pulling his TV show that was in syndication, The Cosby Show, off of Bounce TV and other networks across the country, so he's losing residual income. You have Temple University and a host of other universities pulling his degrees that they gave him as honorary members of their college. But is this happening because he's Black is the question that I have. Because when you think about it, you have Stephen Collins, who was the father for Seventh Heaven, who literally came out in a minute to being an abuser of children, and Seventh Heaven is still running and he's still getting residuals and nobody arrested him. When you look at Donald Trump, nobody's arrested him or accused him or have him in a courtroom. When you look at Matt Lauer, nobody has him in a courtroom. When you look at Harvey Weinstein, nobody has him in the courtroom. Now, I'm not saying that Bill Cosby is innocent, but what I am saying is this. It's clear that justice is only flowing one way, and Lady Justice is not blind. She's going after Black and brown, not white. I'm Warren Ballantine, and I hope I told you didn't know, right here on Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Hey, there's my son. You've been in your room all morning.
Hey, Dad.
Matt, what's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Oh, well, it's just sort of.
I have been playing my video games and electronic games for so many hours.
Uh-huh. Well, it sounds like it might be time for you to take a break, or...
Hello, Dad.
Susan?
I have been watching TV and text messaging all morning. Yay, electronics. Yay, yay, yay.
Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and take a little trip. Maybe see some trees, some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get out to the forest and discover the wonders of nature with your family, just like Blue, Jewel, and the whole Rio flock.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Let's rock this jungle.
Woo!
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning.
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great.
And endless surprises.
Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing.
Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to.
Then what you're going to
this.
do is turn onto Marcy Avenue.
Just broke up
and go past the first 3
she's
lights
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then
think
drive 5
she's
more
happy,
blocks
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's the weekly roundup. Here's what happened this week on Cheryl Underwood Radio. And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. So we'll have a little entertainment discussion. Where you want to go, Kai Urban? You want to do correspondence? You want to continue Bill Cosby?
You know, yeah, I would.
What you want to
touch
do?
on Bill?
What you want to do? Tom Brokaw?
Tom Brokaw. That's kind of messed up.
Isn't it?
I'm just
loving this.
Chance the Rapper, Kanye West. Where you want to go?
Yeah, let's start with just real quick on Bill. Let's close Bill out. Since
Okay. Go ahead. So what is? Well, for me, when I heard the verdict, and give us call 1-855-SHERYL1. A lot of people was like, oh, they did that to Bill Cosby, but President Trump still in office, and let's do this and this and that. My feeling was, it's what it is, and go get Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
Next.
Act like you know.
He's next.
Act like you know.
Bill snapped, didn't he? He snapped at the prosecutor, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What did he do?
Started yelling at him.
And then he cussed at him?
What?
Sure did.
Okay, but Harry, that kind of, you're supposed to have a certain decorum in court.
Yeah, but when you're 80 years old and you're facing 30 years in prison.
That go out the window, huh?
How much he got to do?
Well, I think that's the first time he got shot.
That's what I want to know, Harry. How much is he really going to?
Well, what they're going to do in about 75 days, he's going to have a sentencing hearing. At that hearing, they're going to present mitigating factors such as his age and his health.
They said they do not care.
You are listening to Be Exposed. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate, and we're back here. Today's conversation was based off of Mental Health Awareness Month, and we were going through what it was to be misunderstood. I talked a lot about kindness in my perspective and my opinion on what is being called the backlash. What is being called the backlash to, I would say, what's being called the backlash to what he's saying. And it really is causing a lot of this misunderstanding in terms of what I believe and what I think and how I feel and what I see. I really am starting to see things a bit more differently in terms of how we are perceived and how we are talked about. And just going back to the basics, if you have nothing nice to say,
don't say it at all. Because
Kanye West isn't affecting you. If what Kanye West is saying to you is affecting your life so much so that you got to create a whole show around him, that's a problem. It's a problem in your life, not in Kanye's life, because guess what? Kanye is going home. His lights are still on. He still has money in the bank.
Still eating good.
His family, right. It's going to be a warm meal on his table, some fresh Yeezys, on his feet the next morning. Like, he's not wanting for anything physically.
Good.
Right. And you're allowing this to interrupt your mood and your attitude because somebody is going through something in their life. We take what other people are going through personally, not in terms of absorbing and personalizing somebody else's stress, like putting it on them. We don't even do that. But I'm offended that you are bipolar. I'm offended. You making us look bad. Stop it. It's not like they didn't study for an exam and got an F on it. This is something that often was outside of their control to begin with. Whatever happened to them. And we're so much dirt on it. And now we're publicly talking about this man and as if he's not here. As if he's not monitoring social media or the trend. And a lot of people are accusing him, oh, he must got an album coming out. That's what's wrong. He got an album coming out. So, you know, he just doing this for some publicity. He not really, ain't nothing really wrong with him. And it's really sad.
People got so much to say about a person they probably never even met before.
It's really just, it hurts. It hurts because I personally see in my own life how hard I work, and when someone purposely throws a monkey wrench in, just because I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this, or the lack of communication, or just not wanting to understand or not caring to understand, and always looking out for self. We don't realize how much that damages relationships and situations. And then when someone is physically going through something, or mentally, or financially going through something, God forbid, it's almost as if it's a joke. And then it goes beyond a joke. Because Kanye's been a joke for so long. Until he started to actually do things that were way beyond what we should think is the problem. And then you have the other conspiracy theories that are out there saying, hey, he giving too many truths, somebody go kill him. You putting that on somebody's life. And I'm not saying your words directly pull the trigger, but you giving people ideas to act out on their hostility and their rage about what's going on in their life. Crazy. So they're going to use this person as a target. Because he had it coming anyway. And that's just where I'm at with a lot of this, and I'm not going to second guess anything anymore, and I'm just going to continue to do what is necessary for me. I'm going to do those things that are necessary, and if it means letting people go, that's just what it means. I'm not going to slow my roll down anymore to pacify or justify somebody else not believing in me. And it's a hard thing to do because you be getting something done and then this happens. And I can see how frustrating that can be for anybody that has a vision or has a dream or has a focus. And what does this have to do with mental awareness month, mental health awareness month? Just do the self-care that you need. Because often the self-care that you need is preventing you from being an asshole in somebody else's life or being a monkey wrench in somebody else's life. And we don't often hear it that way. And I think sometimes we need to check ourselves in that way. But self-care isn't always to protect you from somebody else. It's to protect somebody else from you. Because you're not getting the things that you need, that is required for you to live a healthy, normal, and normal is relative, but a healthy, productive life. Like, really get in tune with what you need, and then go out there and get those things. And when I say need, I don't mean a new car, I don't mean a fresh outfit or a new shape up. I really mean health-wise. Get things in line.
Holistically.
Right, so you're not out there harming yourself and then in return harming somebody else. And a lot of this is really ringing true because I have a lot of friends and some family members that suffer from mental disorders that for years never got the help that was necessary. And curing what the disability is not the issue. You got to dig deeper and get into what caused this. And then, because just giving somebody medication because they got bipolar does not stop.
Band-Aid.
Right. It does not stop the problem or the bleeding itself. It comes from somewhere else. Even with stitches, you got to make sure that the wound isn't infected before you stitch it up.
Purify that joint.
Right. You got to really take it back to zero and let them get as close to balance as they can possibly get, because people are not receiving the help that is necessary to sustain healthy lives. And that's a real problem in our culture, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. We are not seeking, one, and we're not getting, secondly, the help that is necessary to sustain a healthy life. And everything ain't gonna be cotton candy and clouds all the time, but we need to strive for as many days like that as possible.
Yeah.
So when the days that aren't like that coming, we have something to look forward to.
And I would say too, it's got to start with us, because we are. What's going on right now stems from us, from not doing something, from not standing up, from not being that person that you know that you're called to be. And a lot of times we face these issues because everybody's like, oh, yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. Oh, ain't nobody else going help her out. I ain't gonna help her out neither. And that mentality is horrible, because it's like, if you can do something to help somebody else's life and you just choose not to because like, oh, I don't feel like it, or yes, that's not my ministry. It's like a lot of times people come into your life for a reason and a season to show you, to strengthen them, but to strengthen you, and to also to help you develop, and that's your portion to the world, to help the world out, because when you help that person can help somebody else, and when that person helps them somebody else, they can help somebody else. So it's a.
But you have to be able to see that though. You can't just acknowledge that, hey, this person is in my life for a reason, whether it's for me or for them. But you got to go along with that. Like, you can't fight it. It can't be just, oh, that's what it is, and then you still doing the things that got you to where you were before they came into your life. And it's really, we really got to get good at just not being aware, just being aware, but doing something about it. We have all these woke people around that's daydreaming. That are just walking around with all this knowledge and not using it. We're just using it and brandishing it and hitting people over the head with something we read in a book. You know, anybody can write a book. So we're using our knowledge as weapons and not being able to build anybody up from what we know. We're not even building ourselves up. We're just accumulating all this knowledge.
And material things.
Right. You know, I see some of the smartest people out there. I know this one young lady, and she has it down packed when it comes to financial literacy. But when I look at her Facebook posts, it's all about what she can do and what you can do. And you seek out these people that you're talking about to help you build your wealth, yet you throw dirt out there. She was talking about Beyonce tickets at one point, and her whole thing is only people that's mad at how much tickets cost are the people that can't afford it. So go out there and spend your rent money or your child's daycare money on those Beyonce tickets, because I'm just going to laugh at you from the front row. And I was like,
that's just wrong.
It's not even about it being wrong, but you wonder why you get so far in life and you're so comfortable in life, but something not happening for you. Something missing. Something.
Like you making it to the top of the ladder and you throw a rock at somebody that's down bottom.
Right. And the one thing that I took away from the last few interviews that Kanye did, he did an interview with Charlamagne actually, and he said, we get so focused on accumulating all the tools so we can get up to the top and use them, but along the way, the journey is getting all of these tools, and then I can just be wherever I'm at and build my top top of the mountain. But we're so focused on getting all these tools together and just getting to the top. And then when we get to the top, we got all these tools.
It's like, dang, I don't even use all these tools.
Right. I don't even need all of them at the top. And we done fought and climbed and sometimes like cheated our way to the top. And we got all these tools and all these resources. And we like, damn, ain't nobody up here with me. So I left some of this stuff behind or brung somebody up with me.
Gave them some of the tools.
But we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do that because it's about self. It's about what I need. It's about what, and not even seeing the blessing that's behind the thing that you sitting on right now, or you pushing to the side. And I don't think I know everything. I just know what I see, and I know what I feel, and I know what I've been through, and I see it. I see it so strongly, and there are moments when I really wish I could just break down and break apart just so I can just rebuild. But it's something in me that just has to keep moving. It has to keep focused on what it is. And if I ever allow myself to just fall apart, it's a fear of not being able to put myself back together. So I understand that healthy fear of just, I got to get to where I got to get to no matter what. But just know we're harming each other on a daily basis. And it's not about you can't do what I need you to do. It's more of a factor of I am purposely making this hard for you. And I don't care. And it's hard for us to really understand that and wrap our heads around being a unified group. And when we see it on Black Panther in the movies, TV, that's cute. But we can't do that in real life. We could, but the way we're going, we can't.
Not this way.
It's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard to really see ourselves for all that we are and who we are.
And we gotta take time. I think it's one of the problems too, is focus so much time on next. Sometimes you gotta just sit still and look around and see what you have, and then you'll say, oh, I got this, and that. I could do this with that. I can improve in this area of my life. But so many times we want to just keep going. How far can we get with this? How far can we get with that? But it's not holistic. It's like you get more things, whether material or just knowledge, but we're not applying anything. We're not coming back and developing from it. It's like what is
I get what you're saying, and I understand where it's coming from. But often that trial, that test in your life, that you keep picking at, it's for you to keep going. Because at some point you will break through and be on the other side. And often we stop. Let me put this here. Let me get over here and do some planning. And think about this thing that I'm actively in control of over here. So I sit that right there and I'm still planning, and then something else walks by and I'm like, I'm gonna try this over here. This blessing that's put in front of you to conquer, we leave that to fester and to die. And we focus on the planning for what we wanted out of this. So our whole life becomes about a plan. And then what happens when this thing that we was placed in front of us festers and dies, we take all this knowledge and we apply that to somebody else's dream. And that's just where it is. And I'm time is not with us, but I'm gonna leave with that. Stay focused on your goals. Be deliberate in your love, and focus on how we can achieve. It's really easy for us to get ourselves in order, but we need every single we need a janitor. We need everybody in the building. There's no one person that's not necessary. So everybody is necessary. Do things that make you afraid. And don't be afraid to say goodbye to somebody. And that sounds really off from everything else we just finished talking about. But you got to know how to say no, yes, and goodbye. And be able to know when to use those things. It's never the perfect time. It's always going to feel uncomfortable. It's never going to feel like the right time. But we have to feel and be fulfilled in our lives. And sometimes that means shrinking the space that we have with people and eliminating distractions and cutting off what isn't necessary and kind of getting rid of the dead weight. And if that's you, then that's you. If it's me, then it's me. And often knowing when to walk away from something and when to say I can't. Because it's hard to dream now, because now dreams, we're realizing dreams are group based. You can't have a dream by yourself. That's not a dream. That's just something you want to do at that point. But everything you want to do requires for you to reach out to somebody at least.
No man's an island.
And you have to live by that, and you have to understand what that is. And you have to check yourself constantly. And so I'm going to leave here, and we'll be back on this coming Monday. We'll have on the 18th, he was supposed to be here today, but he's rescheduled for the 18th, Mr. Sonny Du Marseille. So tune in for the 18th. That's not next Friday, it's the following Friday. So he'll be here. We also are still in line with the Blueprints, the art show, as well as our month of events at the Peel Center. So definitely stay locked in, stay tuned in for that, and we'll be back next Monday. Same time, same place. Artist Exchange Radio Show.